What's going on, Tamers? It's Adrian back again with another TBL video. Today is is going to be a big one. This is a top 8 that we're doing. This is our road to our championship for the season finale for season 2. So it's a pretty big event. There's a lot that we're going to cover. I'm going to try and keep it as concise as possible, but there are some things here that I've just never seen before, so just bear with me. As we scroll down to our breakdown, we did have 21 players, 16 different decks, 4 rounds, and here is our top 8. Shout out to Tessero for taking it with Leviamon, which I guess the conversation in the community is kind of Leviamon's been falling off a little bit. I still think it's a really strong deck, so I guess it's just player preference at that point. But then we have Red Hybrid in 2nd place. We have Melga with 3rd, Machine Dramon in 4th, so that's our top 4. Then we have Mirage in 5th, Machine Dramon in 6th, Security Control 7, and Dark Masters Omnizoo, which I'm assuming is just like a big, like just big bodies. And that's probably the one that I'm going to need to like just look at the most. That and probably Machine Dramon, because Machine Dramon always has like 1-ofs and stuff like that. So shout out to Varney for the awesome little breakdown here. And let's get right into it. Let's try to make this as smooth and as painless as possible. So just bear with me. Here we go. We're going to jump on over into the decks and take a look and see what we got cooking for this week. So here's our 8th place Omnizoo deck. And like I said, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's Dark Masters with just like a really big top end, I'm assuming. These big towers are just, you know, they're security bombs on their own. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have like 5 different security bombs here, but then you got multiple copies. Just Alter B, Merciful Mode, Alter S. They're all 15k bodies. Even Zwart is 15k, so those are just going to be huge bombs out of security. And I'm assuming you're not really playing too much up on the Digivolution aspect of the game, except for your Chikurimons that you're just probably just Digivolving for a draw and then just promoting us to have a Floodgate. All these guys you kind of want to hard play because they do have on plays. I don't see an Apoclymon here. I guess that's just not something that you would run in this type of a deck, even though you do have all the Dark Masters here and you have a couple Ace cards. Mega Gargo is just so good. It only has 2 targets to Digivolve over. You have to be careful. Oh, I guess 3 targets with the Gigadramon. Yeah. Again, I don't know like what the. This is definitely a deck that I would just never play on my own. So I'd have to just, I guess, take the results with a grain of salt. Not a grain of salt, but I just have to take the results as the explanation as to why this is an attractive strategy. I don't know why that popped up. Sorry for that. Yeah, so this is interesting. This would just trigger my anxiety to like the 10th power here, just not having your traditional structure of ratios from rookie to champion to ultimate to mega. So this is definitely something that I probably wouldn't play. But you know, what are you gonna do? Top 8, right? I mean, this is definitely. I know Mike has talked about this, and so has Dan. So I want to check out this Ty and Matt real quick. This is an older card, BT5, start of your turn. If your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon and play, gain 2 memory. Okay. And then all of your Digimon with Omnimon in their names get security +1. That's interesting. So you have Alter B, Zwart Defeat, Merciful Mode, and Alter S. They're always going to be checking for 2. And I'm pretty sure that stacks. So they're always going to be checking for 2 or 3 depending on how many of those you have on the board. This is a card to pay attention to as we start getting Omnimon Ace cards. This might be something that could be a nice little tech just to check multiple things. And, you know, this in combination with Blitz Omni is really nice too because you get the 2 checks with Blitz. And, yeah, I mean, that might just be something to look at. Most of the time you're blitzing and passing turns, so it's not like you're going to win the game right then and there, but it could be this is pretty nice, and you do get the 2 memory when your opponent has a mega out, which most decks right now are building mega stacks anyway. So Marcus for the memory tamer. Okay, yeah, I mean, again, I like the Searcher tech as a on play for 1 draw. That's nice. Yeah, this is interesting. I'd have to see like where like what the lines are. Like, are you just hoping for bombs to security? You're not really gonna. I mean, your Digivolutions are weird because you don't have that many targets. You have to be super careful when you're Digivolving over your aces with these level 7s because the overflow is a pain in the ass, but I guess Merciful Mode, being able to Digivolve over both of your aces is nice because you can do that and then kind of just sit on it. That way it doesn't get deleted, so I guess it kind of protects it being the top source. And then at the start of your next turn, he just kind of disappears and you have your ace back there. So I mean, again, this is something very interesting. What's your Metal Gurumon target here? I guess the Lady Devi is the only one. Yeah, again, because this is so many different things, this was just like, I would probably not play this. But shout out to a top 8 finish. On to good old security control. I'm so tired of talking about security control. Just not in TBL videos, just in general. There's just so much conversation about security control and like where it stands in the format or the meta or just the game in general. You need decks like this because these decks check like aggressive strategies that just kind of turn sideways, and there's no consequences to misplaying or playing out of sequence. So you need decks like this to answer those types of decks. Lots of people are teching in red if they're not on reds for ADP just for these types of decks, which, I mean, this is why the cards exist. Like, you have counters and answers to certain strategies, and that's why you need to play them. I mean, security control, everybody knows what it does, right? You play bombs in your life stack, and you just recover out the wazoo, and you just try to get up as much security as possible. The Digimon Emperor is seeing a lot more play recently. It's a great card. I've loved this card since BT8. It didn't have too many applications as it does now because there's so many Ukamon decks running around. So Digimon Emperor does cancel out that gain that Ukamon will get. And I think wording is a thing here. Like, you have to pay attention to the wording on a Digimon Emperor. So, when your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved. So because that's in breeding, that's start of main and not... That's start of main. No. Breeding happens before main. So this would happen... If they promote a rookie, the memory would switch over before any start of main effects take place. So yeah, the wording is what's going to save you here because Ukamon's not going to trigger before Digimon Emperor resolves. So that's going to be a huge detriment there. But yeah, like I said, these types of decks need to exist because it's usually rock, paper, scissors, and you need to check. Your aggressive decks. Otherwise, you can fall into tier 0 situations. So I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with security control, but it's good. It's proven. So I mean, you really can't until it gets outed, like, or power crept out of the game. Like, it's always going to be really good. Venusmon's a really good card. We have our Magna Aces, we have our Shadow Seraphis. These are all really good cards. Death X, of course. This Magnadramon, I'm really not sure what this does. I don't play when Digivolving. Is this a 4 Great Dragon? Okay. Trashing the top or bottom card of your security stack. Minus 9k till the end of the turn. When a card's removed from your stack, 3 or fewer, place a yellow card from your hand to the... So it's just another helpful recovery card. On play when Digivolving. So it gives you a secondary Mega for 3. Venusmon is 4. So you can go into this to recover your turn without passing turn. And then going ahead and just killing something that's minus, negging something 9k DP. You can take out Megas that are suspended with this, obviously. Because they're going to go from 12 to 3. So you can just kind of crush them and run them over. And this is instantly negging most aces that are not megas. So all of your ultimate megas are getting neg 9k and just dying. So that's really good too. Especially because there's just aces everywhere in the format right now. So yeah, I mean, security control. It is what it is. Moving on. Okay, so this is our first Machinedramon deck in the top. And I hate this. I don't hate it like that it's like bad. I hate that there's so many one-ofs. Like, there's one of Gardramon, one of Gigadramon, one of Andromon, one, like, look at all these one-ofs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 one-ofs. I get it. You need one-ofs for the Machinedramon effects, like in the inheritables and stuff for protection. So you need to have as many different cyborg or machine traded Digimon as possible. So I totally get it. And you want to make sure the inheritables add up. You have Blocker here. You have Reboot here. Is this Reboot? No, this is Blocker as well. Which one's reboot? Andromon is reboot. Okay, so that's reboot. Blocker. This is plus DP. Plus DP. There's got to be a D-Digivolve here somewhere. Maybe not. The new Gigadramon. This is D-Digivolve right here. Yeah, the new Megadramon is D-Digivolve. Yep. So yeah, I mean, you need to have all these different inheritables just to give you access to just every single keyword in the game. That's what Machinedramon is. Like, for all you Magic players or anybody who has played Magic before, this is keyword soup, is what we call it. You have every single keyword. You got Rush, or not Rush, you've got D-Digivolve, you've got Blocker, you've got Reboot, you've got Protection, you've got just so many different things. You want to play passively, defensively as much as you can. This Metal Greymon is super interesting. I know it's an older card, but the fact that it checks for 3 by himself, yeah, you're going to lose 5 memory. I wonder how many times that came up for an attack if it did. That's just interesting to me. And I love the Rapidmon here. It is a cyborg, so you do get the added bonus of it being under a Machinedramon stack. But when you kill something from the security, you do... when you kill a Digimon on board, you get to trash one of their security. So that's just another way of doing chip damage without having to essentially interact too much with the security stack. This is to attack unsuspended Digimon. This is to kill Tamers. Yeah, I mean, you just pretty much have everything. This is piercing, right? Oh no, security +1. The Metal Greymon from EX1 is piercing. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you want to do. I hear really good things about Supreme Connection. I've also heard really good things about this card, or seen this card in action. Is really good. And I think what ties these types of archetypes together that are Machine and Cyborg is Marvin Jackson. The fact that you can Mind Lick and give it Jamming and Blocker, just even more keywords, is kind of crazy. And then the trashing effect to gain a memory is also really nice, because you want your source pieces to be in your trash, so you can just go ahead and, you know, attach them when you drop the Machinedramon. So he kind of facilitates that as well. Analog Band is also obviously a very good card. So yeah, I mean, I don't like decks like this because there's too many one-ofs, and I'm just a stickler for consistency, and that's my problem. So I would unfortunately just right off the bat would never play a deck like this, even though I'm probably missing out. Machinedramon is a really cool concept, but for me, just my anxiety or my OCD would just kind of kill me, and I'm a very like weird dude with like ratios, so this would just aggravate me. But again, I've played against these types of decks. They're really hard to navigate. They're very annoying. It forces you to play weird. So shout out to Machinedramon for a top, and we have two Machinedramons in our top. So we're on to our So this is our 5th place deck, and we have Mirage Galgamon. So yeah, I mean, Mirage is just really good. If it's not the best blue deck in the format right now, it's probably second best to Melga. It's better Ulforce as like that's like the gag. You know, I'm a huge Ulforce stan, but this is just better Ulforce, I guess. I have seen a lot of people fall out of favor with the BT11 Galmon. I think it's a really good searcher. Just the fact that you have to trash the cards that you don't add is just insane to me. There's no synergy with that trashing effect at all, unless in the future they print some type of purple shenanigans for Galmon, which I could see happening, especially because of this guy. If they decide to print some purple interactions where you need stuff in trash, I could see this being valuable. But sometimes when you whiff on those pieces, you don't really want to trash them. You want to bot deck them and eventually either draw back into them, or because there's a lot of searching, there's a lot of drawing in blue decks, so it's not impossible for you to just create so many bot deck effects that your cards that are at the bottom are going to make their way back up to the top. So I have seen this card fall out of favor. For me personally, I've just replaced them with the Betamon that has jamming. This card is just really too good. Gomamon is really nice too. Obviously, on deletion is really nice, just kind of spitting itself out, just giving your opponent another body to deal with it if you need to restart your stack. Also, this Galmon inheritable isn't that great. If you have a Tamer in play, return to level 3, so you're just kind of returning a Floodgate. I mean, you know, it just depends on what your meta is. Like, I don't really... even though floodgates are a thing, just me personally, like, if you have it, you have it, and I'll just have to deal with it as best as I can. I'm not going to text stuff in just to remove floodgates because there's no side decks in Digimon, so I need to make sure that my 50 cards is as solid as it can be. And that's just a me thing, I guess. But 3-1, this is what you do. If you're a blue player, you play 3 Wanyas and 1 Buka. You don't play 4 and 1. You don't want to reduce your chances of seeing your Bukamon egg. Some people have even gone down to 3 eggs in total, which is, I think, insane, but that's neither here nor there. You want to increase this appearance as much as possible. So out of 4 eggs, you have a 25% chance of hatching a Bukamon. I mean, hopefully the odds are in your favor, but if you go 4-1, you're just 20%. It's just, you're never going to see this card. So you definitely want to go 3-1 here. If you want to be a crazy person and try 2-1 and give yourself a 33% chance, but against grandier games, you're going to run out of eggs really quickly, and it's just not fun when you can't play the game. So, I mean, this is a solid list. I like the Lanamon, really good hybrid. Mirage is just a really good card. I don't like this guy too much. This guy is dope. This is BT3 Mirage, BT4 Mirage. I really like this card. He's really cool. Can't be blocked. That's really nice. Unblockable, and there's a lot of blockers rolling around right now in the format. If you play against DigiPolice, their whole board is essentially blockers. So, mental training kind of put this deck over the top, I think. You know, this deck's problem was always searching for pieces, so now that you have the combination of mem boost and trainings is obviously going to increase consistency. So yeah, I mean, this is solid. Burst mode's a beast. I mean, this deck's just really good, and it sucks because it punishes your opponent for drawing cards, which we all love drawing cards, so you just got to be super careful when you play against Mirage, because you start getting fat hands, you're just going to lose. But yeah, okay, so that's our top 5. Let's go into our top 4 here. I should say is our top 5. That's our 5th place deck. This is the first one in the top 4 here. And this is, what is this? Another Machine Dramon deck. Okay. But this is like kind of crazy here too, because there's just so many 1-ofs here again. But like 1-ofs up top. I don't think our previous Machine Dramon list had Quartzmon or Death X in it. So this is a little different variation here. But again, you have all these 1-ofs just to kind of give you your keywords. Ukamon is Ukamon is gross. Any deck that can play Ukamon is just disgusting. You're just gonna turbo through your eggs so quickly, and you're gonna gain so much memory off of it if you can establish a board with Ukamon. It's just really nasty. I feel like this is kind of standard right here. This is what, reboot? Yeah, this is reboot inheritable. What's this rare? This is the expensive promo Raremon, right? Also treated as a cyborg. When attacking, delete a floodgate. Okay, so it's not terrible. You're probably just doing it for the Digivolution and the on-play to draw and trash. This is also a reboot. Yep, that's a reboot. This is de-digivolve. This is plus DP, blocker. Security +1 is nice. This is blocker 2. I thought it was reboot. Attack unsuspended. This is, what's this inheritable here? Security +1. So if you get like an alpha stack, you're gonna check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, again, the combination of the multiple security checks and the rapid mod, if you can put piercing on the bad boy, I don't think there's a piercing inheritable here. I don't see the metal gray from EX1. But if you were to get piercing on Machine Dramon with multiple checks and the rapid mod, dude, I mean, you're gonna crack into a Digimon. You're gonna have 3 checks on your stack, so that's gonna go piercing, 3 checks, and then rapid mod. So you're getting rid of 4 security in one swing, which is disgusting. But yeah, I mean, that's something that I would look into if you can figure out how to get piercing into here. I'm pretty sure it's the EX1 metal gray that has piercing. I would try to figure out a way of getting this guy in there. What's the Mamimon in here for? Is it for the searching? Delete one of your opponent's play cost 5. So I mean, yeah, he could clear blockers, undigivolving, reveal top 3, add a level 6 with machine. So he's a searcher. Okay, that's good. I mean, you could probably, if you wanted to fit piercing in here, This is a jamming level 5. With I'd probably cut one of these dudes down and throw a piercer in here. Why not? Just to have more keywords, right? Like, you know, what's the point at that instance? I love the Lament of Friendship just to be able to add back a target. But yeah, again, another Machine Dramon in top 4. So now we're getting to like the you know, the big boys here out of our top 8. So yeah, I mean, this is an interesting memory tamer. I guess for the Rareemon, just be able to gain memory, because what do you trash? I guess the Bagabu trashes, Rareemon trashes, but that's pretty much it, I think. What's the Candlemon do? On deletion, draw 1. If your opponent has on deletion, if your opponent has 1 or less memory, draw 1. If your opponent has 1 or more, gain 1. Interesting. BT 15. Oh, that's a newer Candlemon. I thought it was an older one. Okay. Shout out Machine Dramon top 4. Next. All right. What do we got here? Okay, Melga. Yeah, I mean, I looked at these lists previously before starting this video here, and right away the thing that jumped out at me the most was this right here. I'm going to circle it here on my screen. Only one BT9 Melga X is kind of just, I think, wrong. This is the Superior X Antibody Metal Garurumon. This card is interesting at best, in my opinion. This card, I might get a lot of shit for this in the comments. This card does not win you the game. This card prevents you from losing, which, again, we've talked about on podcasts and stuff. That's the mentality. I understand you want to have as many tricks in your bag, but a 1-1 split here in a deck that is X antibody focused, as we can see. Yes, I understand that most of the time the game is going to be over before you get up into this X antibody. I totally get it. But I feel like this Melga is just superior to the EX5 one just because of everything it does. It unsuspends, it gains blocker, it bounces a Digimon back to the hand, or it bounces all the lowest level Digimon, right? Lowest level Digimon. So if they have, let's say, 2 level 5s out, they're both gone because it doesn't limit it to 1. You return all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So if it's a Rookie Rush type deck, or like an Ukamon Rush, or like a Red Hybrid where you just have like a board full of rookies, they're gone. If you have 2 Ultimate stacks, they're gone. So I feel like this card is just so much better. I do like this card, don't get me wrong. I do like this card. I think there is space in the deck for it as a one-of, but to do a 1-1 split on these 2 X antibodies, I don't think that's correct. Me personally, I'm not saying I'm the best player in the world. I'm nowhere near that. I'm not even like a good player. But me personally, I've had success with either 2-1 or 3-1, depending on what my other Mega lineup is. I think the sweet spot personally for me is 2-1 if I were to include this card. Obviously, if you don't want to play it at all, just play 3 of this guy. But this Melga is really good too. Like this BT15 Secret Rare is awesome. Obviously, your Ace Melga is still really good too. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a Metal Garurumon list. I don't see the, okay, yeah, the 2-2 split. That's how I do it. I do like that 2-2 split. This guy's just clutch because he digivolves for free. Even though this guy is also a 1. This is my Protoform target most of the time. I'm going to go Protoform into EX5 wear because it's going to be free. I'm going to go ahead and trash for Unsuspension and gain a card for my trash. And that's just going to allow me to continue my snowball. Yeah, I mean, it's solid. Sagittarius mode is really good. It just gets rid of Floodgates super quick. This champion lineup I think is very correct. 3-3-4 is totally fine in my opinion. These are both very beneficial cards. This deck draws a lot. I have seen some instances where people are playing EX1 Garurumons, which would probably substitute the Ace. But the Ace is also really good because it locks your opponent out of suspension, so no block, no attack. Yeah, it's solid. This is a really good deck. If this is not the best blue deck in the game right now, I guess it's an argument between this and Mirage. I don't know if you consider like Magna Armors blue. I just think that's like its own thing. I wouldn't really give that a color specifically just because it's so many colors. But I guess depending on what type of egg you're playing, I really do think that the armor deck is really good, but it's probably gonna get a lot better once we get that BT16 Magna. And then of course I would make the adjustment here on the eggs. I would just go 3-1 instead of 4-1. I really don't think you're gonna ever hatch that 5th egg, even if you're playing a slower game. You can play as slow as you want. This deck is just all gas. I like the EX1 Gabu, but I feel like there's just not enough Tamers though. It's for Tamer and a Gabu with Gabumon in its name. So I guess you can add your X's and your other rookies, but I just don't feel like there's enough Tamers with Matt in their name. Does this add any Tamer? Yeah, any Tamers. So I mean, I guess you can add your cool boys too. Tamer split is good. No memory Tamer is fine, I think. I mean, most of the time, if your opponent's gonna choke you to 1 every single turn, I mean, they probably deserve to win more than you do, but you have mitigation. You have Cool Boy here when you're going up an X stack. You have your mats that you can stack. So, I mean, there's ways of gaining a lot of memory. I feel like the sweet spot in the meta right now with memory Tamers, unless they're very detrimental to the strategy, is like a 1-of. There's not a lot of Tamer removal right now. Like, there's not a lot of heavy Black War Gray stuff floating around. There's just not a lot of heavy Tamer removal right now. So if you're looking just to have that memory Tamer, for me personally, I tech in a shoe here. The memory Tamer from BT15, the DigiPolice one. No, she's the X antibody one that has Mind Link. Memory Tamer and then Mind Link on an X antibody. It gives it Alliance and Reboot. That's the memory Tamer that I tech in for Melga. Just because I feel like I don't need a Davis. There's enough search in here that I just want like a proactive Tamer. And I have OCD about not having a memory Tamer. So I always try to play at least one. So that's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, this is solid. The only things I would change here is reduce my Sunamon eggs to 3 instead of 4 and add probably 1 more of these Melga X's. But everything else is solid. Yeah, you really can't complain with Melga. It's a really good deck. On to our second place, we have Red Hybrid. Yeah, Red Hybrid is Red Hybrid. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, you're playing Ukamon, you play 5 eggs. That's just kind of standard. I like to see this. I really do like this Koromon egg. Every time you check a security, you draw a card, or security is removed, you draw a card. I know the Tokomon or the Yokomon, the on deletion is really good too, but I like the Koromon. And this is just your standard red hybrid deck. Like, this is what you do. I'm also surprised as to... No, Red Memory Boost makes more sense over offense training because you can't Digivolve. You can't proc offense training on the Digivolution on a Tamer, I believe. Because I think it specifically says the next time your Digimon were to Digivolve. So I don't think you can get the reduction on a Tamer. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why. And this digs you for a search. This is the best red removal card in the game right now, Crimson Blaze. The Meteor Blast or Meteor Wing Blast, whatever the name of that card is, that card's really good too. But I still think Crimson Blaze is the best. This card is ridiculous. This just wins you the game. Gravity Crush just wins you the game because you're never going to play it on a non-kill turn. Yeah, I mean, it's Red Hybrid. I mean, they're not playing is it the Ancient Greymon? They're not playing the Ancient Greymon. That's probably going to be when the newer support comes out. But I mean, it's still a really good deck. I mean, it's been a very like solid deck this whole BT15 format, even before BT15. And these are one of the decks that, as they get support, they're just going to get better. And it's probably pretty budget too. I think the most expensive card, if I'm looking, I mean, if you're playing promo Ukas, they're probably expensive. But the most expensive card in this deck is probably Emperor Greymon. So he's probably like $3 or $4, if that, $5 tops. So I mean, yeah, it's budget. It's quick. It's low to the ground. Death by 1,000 cuts. Good deck. I mean, what are you gonna do? Red Hybrid is Red Hybrid. You know, I can't believe it's getting support, but whatever. And then of course we're gonna get to our first place finish here. If you guys have stayed this long in the video, I really do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below how you've been enjoying these TBL recaps or these TBL meta snapshots as we move forward into our championship season. So we have first place Leviamon here. This is just Blitz Omni for purple. So let's just preface that. But it is an X antibody. So technically you could go into these with the options. You can protoform into him, or you can swing an X antibody into him, which is nice. It has that it has that advantage over Blitz Omni, because Blitz Omni is just regular Digivolution, whereas this you can kind of still do it during your turn and keep turn. Most of the time, Blitz Omni is going to pass over, but yeah, excuse me. What can I say? I mean, good card. Good card. Great card. Excellent card. I mean, good card. This is good card deck. Like, there's so many good cards here. I love this tech. This is kind of like hybrid for game, I guess, for 3. I mean, hybrids are usually 2, but still, you have ways of mitigating your memory here. You're playing both boosts, or I shouldn't say both boosts because I don't see missed memory boosts in here, but you're playing purple memory boost and wisdom training, so you're going to be searching and reducing cost and adding memory as the game goes on. The Menace engine is here. Yeah, I mean, this is solid. I mean, this is what you'd expect to see with a Leviathan list, right? I'm very surprised that we haven't gone over a litany of Leviathan lists in the TBL. I think we've maybe gone over a few of them in previous tops, but I don't know why Leviathan fell off as hard as it did. I know Varney was playing it for a while and he was like raving about it, and then he just kind of stopped playing it. I don't know if there's something with the deck that is just too inconsistent, or if it has bad matchups. I don't know. I don't really play too much purple. The very few times I've played against it, I've gotten hosed. So I think it's a good deck. Maybe there's a little bit too much variance with the RNG in the trash, but I mean, if you get your pieces off, I mean, Biting Crush is gross. Leviathan's 2 windows of removal is really nice too, because they happen two separate checkpoints, so you're essentially killing 2 things. Yeah, it's just solid. I mean, shout out to our top 8 from season 2's Road to the Playoffs, or Road to the Championship playoff. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the finals bring. I'm excited to see who's going to take the season crown. Yeah, these making these videos has been my pleasure. I mean, I know it's not very formal. Like, we don't go into like the in-depth stats and everything like Varney does on his bigger tournament snapshots. This is just more of, me kind of just reacting to it and seeing, like, trying to put the pieces together. This is definitely more raw than like a regional snapshot, and I enjoy it. I enjoy having like this organic post conversation with you guys and seeing you guys interact with me in the comments, or interact with us in the comments. It's just fun for me. There's so many ways to get into the technical side of everything, and like ratios, and I don't, I know there's a space for that, but I just kind of like seeing what people are putting together week in and week out to help with the TBL and to participate in the TBL. And it's been fun. It's been a really fun season. I can't wait for season 3 to kick off, but we still have 1 more week to go over coming up as we do our championship rollout, and we'll see how everything goes. So with that being said, we're going to get on out of here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below if you guys have been enjoying this series. But I'm going to go. I'll talk to you. I can't even talk right now. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good night.